Welcome to the 90-Minute Mind, the podcast where passion meets purpose and football becomes more than just a game. This is episode 1, The Beautiful Game, where it all began. Let's kick off a journey that will challenge your mindset, deepen your love for the game, and inspire the player within.
Episode 1, The Beautiful Game, where it all began. Welcome to the 90-Minute Mind, the podcast that dives deep into the soul of football. Each episode takes you on a journey through the game's culture, its players, and the mindset it takes to master the pitch. Today, we begin at the only place that makes sense, the beginning. Football, or maybe you call it soccer. A game played on the streets, on the beaches, in alleyways, in backyards, and in packed stadiums where the world watches with breath held. It's a global language, one that doesn't need translation. But where did it all begin? Long before today's digital scoreboards and billion-dollar transfer deals, football was something far more primitive. The earliest known forms of the game trace back thousands of years. In ancient China, during the Han Dynasty, a game called cuju involved players kicking a leather ball through a small opening. The Greeks had a version too, episkyros, and the Romans played harpastum. These were games of strength, speed, and coordination. But they weren't yet football. The roots of the modern game, the one we now recognize, began to take hold in 12th century England. Villagers would gather in towns and kick a ball made from animal bladders across open fields and down cobbled streets. It was chaotic. There were no defined positions, no referees, no fixed pitch size. Just a ball and the will to win. The rules were as fluid as the riverbanks they played beside. As the centuries passed, the game gradually moved from muddy village rivalries to England's public schools. Institutions like Eton and Harrow started playing their own versions of football, each with slightly different rules. Some allowed carrying the ball, others only kicking. The need for standardization became clear, especially as inter-school competition grew. In 1863, representatives from various clubs gathered in a London pub to create a universal code. That meeting led to the formation of the Football Association, the FA, and with it, association football was born. But let's pause for a moment. Why is it called football in some countries and soccer in others? The answer is rooted in that very same 1863 moment. After the rules were established, the term association football was used to distinguish it from rugby football. In classic British fashion, association was shortened to association, then playfully transformed by university students into soccer, just like rugby became rugger. So, ironically, soccer is not an American invention. It's a British nickname. In the United States, where a different form of football was already developing, what the world now knows as American football, the term soccer helped avoid confusion. And while the rest of the world stuck with football, the name soccer remained in countries where American influence was stronger, like Canada, Australia, and parts of Africa and Asia. So what do you call it? Soccer or football? It may depend on where you live, but the passion behind the word is the same. As the 19th century turned into the 20th, football's popularity exploded. It spread through British trade routes and colonial outposts, catching fire in every corner of the globe. By the early 1900s, teams from France, Belgium, Denmark, the Netherlands, Spain, and Switzerland came together to form FIFA, the Fédération Internationale de Football Association, in 1904. Its mission, to govern and grow the game. In 1930, the first ever FIFA World Cup was held in Uruguay. 13 teams participated, and the host nation lifted the trophy. That moment marked football's transformation from a European pastime to a truly global sport. The Olympics had included football since 1900, but the World Cup gave it its own grand stage. From there, the game only grew. South America introduced the world to a new style of play, creative, expressive, rhythmic. Europe brought structure, tactics, and discipline. Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean added their own flavor. Fierce pace, improvisation, passion. Football wasn't just played, it was lived differently in every region. It was no longer just a sport. It became culture. In the 1950s and 60s, legends began to emerge. Pelé, just 17 years old, dazzled the world with his grace and brilliance. Diego Maradona, took the game and twisted it into something wild, magical, and unpredictable. Johann Cruyff brought philosophy to the pitch with total football, while Franz Beckenbauer introduced elegance to defense. These weren't just players, they were architects of the game's future. By the 1990s, football had gone fully global. The English Premier League was launched in 1992, bringing with it a media explosion. Satellite television turned club matches into global events. The UEFA Champions League followed, showcasing the best clubs and players across Europe. In 1994, the World Cup arrived in the United States, drawing record crowds and proving the game's global staying power. But as much as the game grew commercially, its essence remained rooted in something pure. That same spirit you see in a child juggling a ball in Nairobi, a teen playing barefoot in Rio, or kids making makeshift goals out of trash cans in Toronto. That's football at its core. A ball, a bit of space, and a dream. What makes football so powerful is how it reflects the world around it. It's political, emotional, and unfiltered. It has the power to bring nations together, to give voice to the voiceless, and to inspire generations. Think of Didier Drogba stopping civil war in Ivory Coast. Think of the black armband worn by players in protest. Think of the World Cup final, billions watching, every pass carrying the weight of a nation. Football teaches us more than how to win or lose. It teaches patience, vision, discipline, creativity. It mirrors life, where sometimes you're on the attack, sometimes you're defending, and sometimes you're just trying to hold the line. Today, over 250 million people play the game across more than 200 countries. It's the most played and watched sport in the world. Whether it's Messi gliding past defenders, Mbappe's electrifying pace, or a last-minute winner in a local park league, football creates moments that stay with us forever. From its muddy beginnings in English villages to the packed stadiums of modern Europe, from ancient empires to global tournaments. This is the story of football. And yet, it's just the beginning. Because with every child who kicks a ball today, the story continues. So the next time you watch a match, hear a chant, or feel your heart race as your team pushes forward, remember where it all started. And ask yourself, what do you call it? Football? Soccer? Either way, welcome to the game. Next time on the 90-Minute Mind, we'll explore the psychology of high performance. What separates the focus from the frantic? Why does mindset win games more than muscle? In Episode 2, we dive into the brain behind the boot and the mental edge that turns players into legends. Thanks for listening to the 90-Minute Mind. Share this episode with someone who loves the game. Follow the podcast to never miss a moment. Because football isn't just played in 90 minutes, it's lived in the mind every day.
That's it for Episode 1 of the 90-Minute Mind. The game is global, but your journey is personal. Keep learning, keep growing, and always play with purpose. See you in the next episode.